Good day, everyone. My name is Blesse Ann Blacer, representative of the Philippines for this assembly, and I am here to give my speech about the LGBT community, the grouping of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and other queer individuals united by a common culture and social movements of the LGBT community have been fighting for their rights for 20 years, and yet many still do not recognize their efforts and requests. Even though the heterosexual bill or the rights of heterosexuals comment on LGBT issues has not yet been passed, many individuals such as myself has expressed concern about it. House Bill number 5717, pushed by Pastor Representative Benny Abante of the 6th District of Manila, aims to give heterosexuals the right to express their biblical views on the LGBT community. The bill also set a fine and imprisonment for those that violate the proposed law. Unlike now, in the colonial Spanish and the colonial American times, homosexuals weren't discriminated. The Babaylan, a priestess who has a wealth of knowledge and spirituality, was the first account of women and gender-crossing men playing major roles in the Philippine society. The absence of datu, the Babaylan had the authority to take charge of the barangay. Some male babaylan known as asog were free to have homosexual relationships without societal judgment. The asog, on the other hand, were not transvestites. They were gender transgressors because they received the same spiritual recognition as female babaylans. The asog led revolts against the oppression of the Spanish colonial period, using various incantations to strengthen the revolt. The Spanish introduced patriarchy and the machismo concept from the indigenous matriarchy, making gender crossing a mock practice. It wasn't long before effeminate men were shunned as well, giving rise to original vernacular for what the Tagalog call bakla, or gay man, also meant confused and cowardly. The period of American colonization reinforced Western conceptions of gender and sexuality, cementing them in formal education. The women's movement in the 1980s was a high point in the lesbian community, struggle to be visible in public. In recent decades, the lesbian community has felt invisible and ignored. Lesbian concerns have been subsumed under women's and feminist studies, which were previously heterosexual in nature, as well as the gay movement, which previously prominently conceptualized lesbian women as the female version of homosexual men. As a result, the lesbian community wished to have their voices heard in the fight against the dictatorship. Finally, the underground women's organization, Makibaka, issued a position paper on the women's sexual orientation issues. Later in the 1990s, the issue of gender and sexuality became a major concern in the women's movement, resulting in the formation of the lesbian collective Lesbian Can't Live in the Closet and the first National Lesbian Rights Conference. The first LGBT Pride March on June 26, 1994, to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the Stonewall Riot was one of the most memorable moments in the history of the LGBT movement in the Philippines. The march was not only the first in the Philippines, but also in Asia. The Senate Bill number 689 is an act prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity or expression, or also known as SOGI, and it also provides penalties therefore. Based on the United Nations or UN study, 30% of the LGBT community is reportedly being harassed, bullied, and discriminated, while 21% were unable to get a job due to their sexual orientation. Many countries have already enacted their anti discrimination laws, and the Philippines should also join those places. I hope that the LGBT community will finally be accepted and not just tolerated. I hope that the government hears our voices where we ask to be accepted, not just by the people of the country, but also the state that is meant to protect everyone. Nothing should ever be our basis for love. I hope that the LGBT community is given a chance to express their true selves, where they are never discriminated for who they are.